I'm usually not one to believe in the paranormal. However, I've recently been convinced that there's one man that's being haunted and possessed by a bad take demon. And if you're a fan of sports, you know exactly who I'm going to talk about. When you hear the word bad take, one image and one name pops into your head: Skip Bayless. He's been around for a long time. When I was a huge sports fan, I used to watch him and his shows as well. However, I don't much anymore. Now I just kind of see the viral clips of his most awful brain dead opinions that are usually just way off the mark, or him just cosplaying as LeBron James boxers so he could hold his meat. I can't decide if he truly believes half the shit he talks about because some of it's just blatantly wrong or just weird. So I don't know if he says it for the sake of shock and controversy for views, or if he really is just an android that's powered by awful sports takes, like he's algorithmically programmed to deliver horrible sports opinions. But last night, this reached a boiling point when he dropped this stinker. This tweet, I believe, is the highest ratioed tweet on the entire site. I haven't been able to find anything that has a stronger, fatter L plus ratio here anywhere. Now, before diving into what made this tweet so hated, I'll give context around it in case you're unfamiliar with the situation that it's in reference to. Last night in the Bills vs. Bengals game, a player for the Bills named Damar Hamlin was making a tackle and he got hit in the chest, and when he got up off of making the tackle off the ground, he collapsed. Medical personnel attended to him for about 10 minutes performing CPR before he was taken away to a hospital. His condition was unknown, but it was very scary to see that. Most people were afraid they had just watched this young man die on the field from this, and it was just a really horrifying situation all around. Of course, a ton of people from all over went on Twitter to talk about it as well as offer prayers, hoping for a full recovery for Damar Hamlin. And then there was Skip Bayless, who went on Twitter with two tweets that weren't anything bad, just kind of talking about what was happening and like how serious it was. But then on his third tweet, something went awry. Some wires got crossed in the old dusty brain of Skip Bayless. This was not a third time's the charm situation here. He let the bad take devil out to play. And that's when he dropped this tweet. This poorly worded masterpiece is what's getting dunked on right now. No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. Now let me break down why this was hated so widely, because when I talked about it on stream, there was a few people that were confused by it, which in turn confused me at their confusion, and it just became this fucking degenerate cycle of spitting confusion at each other's mouths like two girls, one cup. So, the reason why most people, including myself, found this to be a dumb tweet is because of how callous it reads. It feels more like Skip Bayless is focusing on the importance of the game rather than Damar Hamlin's health. Instead of being concerned for Damar Hamlin here, he's more concerned about the game. And since it's an important one, they're considering postponing it, but how? That's a tough thing to do. Which he's not wrong about. Postponing and suspending a game is not an easy decision to make, and it is an important game, but that really isn't what's most important here. And when you read this tweet, it feels like he's saying that the game is what's most important. And that last line where he says, which suddenly seems so irrelevant, well, that little zinger had more interpretations than a Rorschach painting. So some people are saying this is Skip Bayless saying that, the game's important, but now it's not because of Hamlin, so he is putting focus on Hamlin. But the majority of people read that as Skip Bayless being disappointed that the focus is no longer the game. Oh, this game is so important, the magnitude, it's crucial to the regular season, and postponing it, how? It's such an important, crucial game to be played, but now it just suddenly seems irrelevant. Like, it sounds like he's disappointed that the Hamlin injury has taken the focus off of the game. So his tweet is to put it back on the game. It's a poorly worded, jumbled thought here that reads badly and reads very callous. And it doesn't even, do anything. He's just talking about the difficulty of rescheduling or postponing a game. And he's not wrong. It is hard. But what the fuck is the point here? Why even mention this? Everyone knows it's not an easy decision to make on whether or not to suspend a game in a situation like this. That offered nothing, and it just seemed like you cared more about the game than Hamlin. He did then drop this apology tweet. Nothing is more important than that young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if it was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him and will continue to do so. This one rubbed me the wrong way. This one grinded my ass. This is a little petty, but he's saying sorry if it was misunderstood. Like, just take responsibility. You poorly worded it. Don't say, like, I'm sorry you guys didn't understand my wise words, my sage wisdom. I'm sorry it went over your head with what I was really saying. Just be like, yeah, I didn't word my thought properly. Because it is just poorly worded. Like, it is just not worded correctly. Like, if your point is all of this isn't relevant now because we should all care more about Hamlin's health than the outcome of this game, then you should have made that more clear, because the way it reads is that the game is more important than Hamlin's health. Which is obviously why Skip Bayless became a public toilet for everyone to shit in last night. Now, to give an update on Damar Hamlin's condition, as of right now, the most recent update, his vitals are back to normal, but he remains sedated. So things are trending in the right direction. The official statement for what happened here is he suffered cardiac arrest following that hit, and that's what was going on. So it's just a very scary situation overall. He remains in critical condition as of right now, but with his vitals being normal, things seem to be stepping in the right direction, so hopefully everything continues to improve for Hamlin's condition. Now, I do want to mention something wholesome that's happened in the face of all of this awfulness. Damar Hamlin had a charity that was doing a toy drive, and after this hit, they've raised over $3 million for that charity. So I just really thought this was something very positive from the community to come together to show support for Hamlin. So I definitely wanted to mention that. Overall, Skip Bayless does what he does best, make a fucking fool of himself. The tweet was horribly worded. I don't not believe him that he cares about Hamlin's health more than the game. I feel like you'd have to be a real evil son of a bitch to actually think the game is somehow more important than Hamlin's life. So it's not like I think that he's lying about what his intentions with the tweet were, but it's just so poorly worded, as are most of his thoughts throughout his entire career. So that's why he got dunked on. It is just still a shit tweet overall, and that's now become part of Twitter history as, I believe, the most ratioed tweet to ever exist. At the very least, the hardest ratio of 2023, and we're already kicking it off in a big way here with that one. That's going to be a tough ratio to beat. That's about it. So yeah.